Good morning. It is Monday, and it is a Monday that I'm sort of recovering from my crazy week last week. Like that number one, I can't even talk right without saying but last week was a little bit crazy for me with my MacBook going down and just overwhelming. And we all have those weeks. But I had a weekend where I got to do a little bit of work, a little bit of brainstorming on some stuff. So I did some creative work. Actually, I sat at a brewery and actually just wrote down ideas, like as I kind of sat there, and like there's a kind of a space, like a beer or two in, where you're just kind of thinking, right, and coming up with some ideas. So I'm sorting through that stuff now. We'll see if I come up with any gold or if I came up with any gold. Watched some terrible hockey. Penguins are playing awful this weekend, or did play awful this weekend. So saw some terrible hockey this weekend. We made some ribs yesterday. Came out okay. We enjoyed the day, enjoyed the weather. Went house hunting, like open house hunting a little bit. So all of that was pretty good, pretty good. And it's last night. From a discipline perspective, did pretty good. I 9:30 got done with a conference call that I was on. Went downstairs and did the dishes and prepped the coffee maker, filled it with water, ready to go for the morning. I just sort of got myself in that space so that when I woke up this morning, I'd be able to hit it pretty hard and pretty strong. So I did that, and that's why I'm a little bit late today doing this video because the the morning kind of got off to a quick start for me. One of my boys woke up a little bit early, and he likes to play this game where he's like hiding from monsters and stuff. So we did that for about 20 minutes, which shifted things around for me a little bit. But I wanted to make sure we got that time in before he went to school. But yeah, one thing I wanted to talk about, and it happens in this group once in a while, but generally we're pretty good in this group, so I don't think it does too much. But watching our reactions to things, we get so like crazy sometimes about stuff. We overreact, and a lot of times it's not necessary, and we don't anticipate who we could be hurting. And the reason I bring this up is because a friend of ours, like an acquaintance more, posted something about her child online last night. Apparently, he had won like some sort of an invention contest, where he was going downtown to the convention center and was going to present his invention to some organization, right? And so it was picked up in a local Pittsburgh magazine. And the invention is a shock collar. Like it's a leash that has like a shock device for the dog. So if you're a kid especially and you need to control your dog and something happens, like it administers a shock to the dog. Now, there's a lot of people out there that don't like shocking animals, for obvious reasons. But I don't think this kid, an 11-year-old, was considering all of that. He was just trying to solve a problem. But a national anti-shock collar organization picked it up and wrote a lengthy article in a response to the Pittsburgh Magazine. And then other people picked it up, and all the animal people picked it up and started harassing and bullying this kid, an 11-year-old, online through social media. And even reading some of the reviews of the organization that was hosting this event, criticizing the organization for promoting this and blah, blah, blah. Well, this was an invention that had to go through like an awards process, and he may not have won, but it was good enough to get into this thing. And so he, he had to end up having to withdraw because of the bullying being so bad. Like adults bullied an 11-year-old over a shock collar. In reading some of the comments, there was one woman who was even studying to be a technician, a vet tech, and she was going back and forth with this guy who's saying, you're blowing this way out of control. And she said, well, give me proof where shock actually works. And he provided articles, and they went back and forth. But through this process, they came up, like she even said, there's proof that lemon sprays work better and are more humane than shock collars. And I'm thinking to myself, there's the answer right there. If somebody is doing something that you feel is unethical, that you don't agree with, instead of attacking them, especially an 11-year-old, instead of attacking them as a person, take a moment and maybe think of an alternative. Like, hey, that's a great idea, but there are concerns that shocking an animal may be inhumane. Uh, there is proof that a lemon spray would actually be more effective. This kid, instead of being bullied and tormented by adults, could have actually improved his invention and taken an improved item to this competition, maybe to market if it goes that far down the road. Who knows? But rather than attacking him as an awful person or his parents as awful people for not teaching him the right way to treat animals, whatever the story is, right? Let's take the opportunity to say, hey, look, that's great. But people have these kinds of concerns, and maybe you could approach it this way. And then it's on him to respond however, or his parents to respond however they would want to respond. They could get defensive. They could say, shut up. They could do whatever, but that's on them, right? They could also say, that's a great idea. Here's an opportunity to make the product even better. So in any response, rather than going all caps, exclamation, 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 maybe flip it around. Think of a time, maybe if we want to go so far as think of a time when maybe you were wrong and had to be sort of given a different perspective. I stopped short of saying corrected, but given a different perspective. And think about how you might offer a different perspective to this other person rather than going all caps, you jerk, blah, 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 love animals, like all this stuff, right? Anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. But, I want to start off Monday on a positive note. And so if we're going to take anything from this little story that I'm talking about, it's that give other people just a little bit of grace as you're moving through your week this week. There are people that do things that you disagree with, that you might be completely against at your core. But let's take the time to have a conversation, right? I mean, if you want to have the political conversation, have that conversation. If it's about work, have a reasonable conversation. And if the other person doesn't want to have a reasonable conversation, then, do what you have to do to direct it a different way. Maybe you cut it off. Maybe you say, look, when you calm down, we can talk about this rationally. I know it's hard to do. You get caught up in it. You get triggered. You get like, "Urgh." But we all have to take steps to kind of back that down a little bit. So as far as my week goes, I was looking at my schedule last night, and I am really excited for the fact that I don't have anything scheduled. Now, I am starting to fill it in now, but looking at this week, there was nothing pre-scheduled for the entire week except a haircut, which I actually might kick to next week. But I'm really excited about this whole opportunity to actually sit down and focus on work after the kind of week I had last week. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you tackle those big things that move you forward. And I hope you do it using Define My Day. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a great product. Take care. Have a great day, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning.